Listen, there's a transfer of wealth that's happening. We got to understand how to develop a skill set that makes us as an individual an asset without having to depend on any compensation plans, depend on any other individuals or entities, just understanding the market and being able to do so from the comforts of our home or the comforts of our phone and tap into the transfer of wealth. If $1 trillion+ are transferring on the market every day, why not be in position to get some of that transfer? If you want access to the transfer of wealth, it'll be a link down below so you can do so. But I want you to see the power in this system, the power in this tool, and the difference between knowing when you have an A+ setup or not, and how you need to behave when you see an A+ setup. A+ setup just basically means 4 criteria have been met. And if you can count to 4, and if you know your colors and you know how to match those things up, then you can know when to place a trade using this system. Yes, there will be some learning curves. Yes, there will be some new lingo. Yes, it will challenge you to understand things that you may not know if you're new. However, it'll reward you because you developed a skill set that nobody else can take from you. And that's really what it's all about. And if you're willing to tap into getting a skill set that can make you an asset, then I believe the information that I have for you today and beyond will serve you well and your future generations. So let's dive into this trade on what took place on the good side of what was not an A+ trade but had potential to what was an A+ trade, and how you can navigate in that situation once you get access to the tool. Again, if you want access to the tool so you can tap into the transfer of wealth, it's available down below. But let's get into the trade video. Listen, so here's reason number 101 to consider getting this or getting access to these indicators in this system that can show you how to get money out of the market and be a profitable trader, even if you're brand new. You don't have to know all of the lingo, but this helps because it lets you know what to pay attention to, and in some cases what to ignore. So I'm gonna go give you 2 different scenarios out of what happened earlier today in the market so you can just see how the tool works. It's an A+ system that allows you to look at 4 things. If those 4 things align, it puts you in a better position to be profitable and place a trade. If they don't align, then you should strongly consider ignoring it. However, there are things you need to pay attention to, and I'll show you exactly what you need to pay attention to and why. And if you want access to the system, of course, it's down below so you can tap in. Salute to those who've been tapping in. Many people have been tapping in, getting access to the bot. The bot helps you make money, or do trades without you, but you still have control over the bot. You can pause it, you can stop it, you can do whatever, but it's programmed for profitability. But in the meantime, you're still learning. So salute to those who are doing a combination of both. But let's look at this chart. This is from earlier today. At the time of this shot on this replay, it was around 8:32, give or take, 8:32. All right, so let's hit play. And it's going a little faster because this is the replay. You know how this goes. If you've seen this before, then you know. If not, then no biggie. Now, what we have going on right now is showing to be bearish as the daily buys. That's one of the things you want to look at. You want to look when there's a signal, and you want to look down here and see if you see trending in the direction of the bias. So you will want red. Red matches bearish. And then you want to look and see if there's momentum, that green bottom bar. Now look, I'm going to pause it real quick. Right now you see that it went from having some momentum and slightly red to no momentum because it turned gray at this particular moment. That's important because when it has a green bar of momentum, it has the ability to push in the direction of whenever the signal is given. Now, no signal, no buy signal or sell signal has been given just yet. I just want you to pay attention to these things in detail so that way you know what to look for and why. Let's keep going. So the market is moving sideways. It opened up when it opened up, and then it just started kind of going up and down sideways. It's what they call that when it doesn't pick a clear direction. All right, so it's going up, going down, going up, going down. We call that sideways. Some people are making money in that area, but if you want to be highly profitable in terms of following the system that you can get access directly through me, then you want to pay attention to high probability trades. Now, you see the daily buy switched to neutral. It was bearish, it switched to neutral. Then it switched back to bearish. So it's so up and down that, you see it toggling back and forth between the two. I'm on the 2-minute chart. We're trading the mini NASDAQ. Now, let's pause it. Right here, a signal was issued. A signal was issued right there. That's what that meant. Now, typically it'll say buy, a reverse buy. But since this is a replay, it's just showing the signal itself or where it took place. Now, a couple of things you need to point out. It is showing bullish. It did have a buy signal saying that they think the market is going to go up. That matches. It does have green trending in this section. So it could potentially do something. However, it's not an A+ setup because it doesn't have the green momentum. But let's just say hypothetically I place the trade right here to buy. Now, typically if it's 3 out of 4 like this, meaning that you got the daily buys that matches the signal, that also matches the trend, it'll give you a take profit. It's not showing because this is the replay and those numbers adjusted according to what actually did happen. But if it's 3 out of the 4, instead of you say the take profit was here, instead of you letting it get to the take profit, you'll take your profits early, halfway there, so that way you are more likely to not lose money because it doesn't have the momentum. It might not push this far. Doesn't mean it can't push this far. No, it doesn't mean that. It just is less likely, and we want to go with high probabilities. But let's say hypothetically, I push the buy at this time. Let's see how this would play out. Me pushing the buy. It's not an A+ setup. Keep in mind, it's not an A+ setup. Let's see how this would play out. A+ means that all 4 things match: momentum, trend, signal, daily buys. Simply put, this is 3 out of 4. So a person should take profits halfway there if they're planning to take advantage of this trade. Or you can leave it alone and only wait on A+ setups to discipline yourself for patience. But let's keep going. Let's see what happens beyond this point. All right, so that was the confirmed buy signal. Okay, pause, because I already showed the confirmed buy. But now you see the take profit. The take profit is up here. However, it started going down. It's looking like it's at a loss, but the take profit is up there. The first take profit is the take profit 2 and 3 up there as well. So I got a little ahead, but you see the take profits. Now, this is what you also got to pay attention to. Sometimes when you see boxes like this, it can act as a magnet, meaning it attracts it to that, but it can also act as something that bounces off of. That's just something to consider. Now, let's keep going because we still don't have any momentum at the time. Showed the confirmed buy. But let's see how it continues to play out. All right, up $1.50. And each candle represents 2 minutes in the market. So it's moving slow, but not in real time. Down 18. And keep in mind, this wasn't an A+ setup. But let's see if it even got to or would have gotten to the halfway mark or not. All right, up to 22. Somebody could take their profits there if they wanted to. And depending on how many contracts you're trading, that number could be higher. Now, just like that, I want y'all to see what just happened. This was not an A+ setup. When you're dealing with something that's not an A+ setup, meaning it's 3 out of 4, you want to watch it like a hawk and see when you can take your profits. But just like that, between this candle here, this white candle that was going upward, and this candle, I went from profits of $22 to $60, or negative $60 at a loss. At a loss, negative $60. Let's keep going. Because the table turned. It didn't have the momentum to keep it up there. Now the daily bias is neutral. So it's not looking pretty for that trade. Again, now I'm down 127. Now, keep in mind, the stop loss is right here. This is the stop loss. This is where if that wasn't a successful trade, it will stop you out here. However, you can stop your loss whenever you want to. It's up to you. You can determine when you place your stop loss. But it's down $127 with a stop loss right here. And the stop loss is designed to keep you from losing even more money if you held on to the trade. But if you decide, you know what, I'm going to take this loss here and cut my losses because I see the bias is now bearish and it's no longer bullish, you cut your losses. So I'm going to cut the losses at 127.50 in this example. But I'm going to still press play to see how the market continue from this point. But I really want to stress the importance of A+ setups. You want 4 things to match. You want the daily bias to match the signal, and the trend, and then green momentum. So even if it's bearish, it's gonna show a red trend, but you still like green momentum for A plus setup because it doesn't have enough power to move in the direction that you want it to without the momentum bar. In many cases, it still can, but just keep that in mind. So it went down some more. Let's keep playing it out. All right, it's kind of going back up. Let's see what it does. But keep in mind, the daily bias is back bearish. Starting to develop a red trend down here. So it's just 4 points you're looking at. If you can count to 4, you know your colors, you can place the trade. Now, what just happened? Daily bias is bearish. We got a confirmed sell signal. Got red trends. Still have no green momentum yet. But it's something to keep an eye on because it gave us a sell. This is the point of entry, that yellow line right there. And then we got to take profit 1, take profit 2. All from that short time frame. So let's push play. Let's see if we can turn this into an A plus setup, or if the market turns it into an A plus setup. A plus would mean that the green momentum bar shows up. That's what we're looking for. And we can still enter around the entry point, you know, or before the take profit. So we got a confirmed sell signal. Daily bias is bearish. Got some red trending going. Only thing we're missing is the green momentum bar. We're watching the market. See what just happened? Green momentum showed up. I paused it because it dipped. It came and went. So I'm gonna keep letting it go. So I want you paying attention to this area. It's still showing a red trend. Still showing a confirmed sell. It's kind of looking like it want to head that way. But let's see. Daily bias switching back and forth to neutral. Now it crossed over that entry point, so it's still heading in that downward direction. It pushed through that. However, what we're looking for is an A plus setup in this moment. So we want some green to show up right here. Now green has entered into the conversation. So that means that the sell signal was correct in the direction that it was heading. And it's right there at the take profit. Right there at the take profit. But we haven't entered a sell trade just yet. But let's keep seeing what comes from this green momentum. Now, this is what I want to do. Let's say I go ahead and enter a sell now. It hasn't hit the take profit 1 just yet. I see the green momentum. This tells me that it's likely to push down even further. Bearish, confirmed sell signal within range. Take profit hasn't been hit yet. Trending in the bearish direction. And we got some green momentum. That momentum could push it down even further. So let's hit a sell. Let's hit a sell and see what comes from it. Because now it just became an A plus like setup. And the momentum came right before the take profit. Just that fast, it went from where it was to 108 and heading towards that take profit too. That's the power of having some momentum. You can create larger bars when you have some momentum showing up in that time frame, and we're at 108 profit. But keep in mind, we just took 127.50 cent loss just because we entered when we shouldn't have. Now, I did that for example purposes only. I'm not saying that's when I would have entered, but say hypothetically you did, not honoring the A plus system that's already in place could position you to take unnecessary losses. So that $127 loss would have been unnecessary when you could have just patiently waited to see if an A plus setup showed up. Especially if you're new and you don't know exactly when to take out early. But I'm not going to close the trade just yet. Let's see what continues to happen. So it's going back and forth, went from 107 to 24 in profit. And what you got to understand is that it doesn't just go in one direction. It goes back and forth, back and forth. You just got to be willing to go through the process. So back up 97 bucks. Hasn't hit the take profit tool. Still got good range or trending. Still got strong momentum that can push it further because the bars are still green. Still daily buys bearish. Pause. Now, just like that, we broke through take profit too, and we're up 238. Now, let's say I close out this trade. I'm like, hey, I made up my losses because I took a bad, it wasn't an A plus trade. It wasn't a bad trade. It's just, you would have to have taken the profits out sooner. However, 238 more than replaces the loss. So I'm up 238, was down 137.50, but now I'm up 238 because I took an A plus setup, found the momentum, it pushed through take profit 1, blasted through take profit 2, and now I'm up in the green. Close position and take profit. That's the power of using this tool, so you know when to trade and then just kind of wait it out and see how it plays out, and then you take profit or you cut your losses when you see fit. So I had to show y'all this to let you know both opportunities presented themselves. A buy signal, but it reversed itself so quick that it was not an A plus setup because it didn't meet all criteria. Sell signal showed up, wasn't any momentum at that time, and you can line it up. The confirmed sell signal came right here, and yeah, we had a little trend in the red, but it wasn't no momentum. So we just waited it out. I got another confirmation of a sell. Still in the gray, no real momentum, but it's getting closer to the TP1 at that point. But now we started to get some momentum. We still had a daily bias of bearish. We still had the trend bars showing red, but we got some green momentum. That's likely to push down further. What do? Hit sell, and as a result, $235 up using this system. If you want access to this system, this tool, the network, the community, so you can develop and grab a skill set that can make you an asset, and you want access, the link is available down below. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.